So, ladies and gentlemen, on this snowy day in New Brunswick, we're going to go over a little bit of Montreal Canadiens history that a lot of people don't know about. Now, in the 1980 playoffs in the first round, they drew the Hartford Whalers, or was the New England Whalers of the WHA. What was kind of ironic here, ladies and gentlemen, Gordie Howe, Bobby Hull, Dave Keon, and the two Howe sons were playing on this team, which marked the last NHL playoff series for Bobby Hull and for Gordie Howe. And Gordie Howe, played not too bad in the series. Now, what's ironic with this series, it cost the Montreal Canadiens the Stanley Cup that year, but not in the way you expect. So it was a best-of-5 series. They drew Hartford. Hartford had a very poor defensive team that year. They had the very, not saying mediocre, but Al Smith wasn't the greatest goalie in, Hartford Whalers history. You had difficulty with the Montreal Canadian team. Now, the opening game in Montreal went 6-1 for the Habs. The big star of this game was Yvon Lambert, who scored twice in the contest. And for some reason, Lambert always did good against the Whalers. Now, Montreal had led 2-0 after the first period and 4-0 after the second. And we quickly found right away that Hartford was either too young or too old to keep up with the Habs. Now, in that game, Englund, Chartrand, Lafleur, and Schutt scored. Mark Howe replied, breaking the shutout with 5 minutes left past Denny Herro. Now, as we went into the game two, a lot of people are wondering if this was going to be Gordie Howe's last game at the Forum, and it ended up being that because in the best of 5, Hartford was going to have to win at least 2 games to bring it back to Montreal for Game 5, and that's exactly what happened. Final ended up being 8-4. Now, Montreal led 3-0 after the first period on goals by Jarvis, Hull, and Lambert. Now, in the second, Gingras scored again for Montreal to make it 4-0. Then Ray Neufeld, a very good young prospect for Hartford, countered his first of the series. Then Gainey and Roberts exchanged goals, and Lambert another goal and continued his great success in the playoffs. Then Schutt and Lafleur followed. Now in the third period, here where it gets quite interesting, ladies and gentlemen. Marty Howe scored at the 6-minute mark of the third period, and Gordie Howe, and probably one of the most accurate and longest backhands of the playoffs that year, scored his final NHL playoff goal. Now we had 2 points in the game, a goal and an assist, and Bobby Hull said after the game in published reports, it was nice to see that the old man still had a little bit of that fire in him. Now, Montreal winning the first 2 games, sent it back to Hartford, and Hartford always played Montreal tough at home. And that's what happened in this game. And Hartford almost had an instant hero in the contest because they were finding some of their younger and more experienced players were doing good. Now, Pat Boutet, on an unassisted marker, scored the Hartford's opening goal. Lafleur tied it up, and here's the connection goes in. Boutet in the second period hit Lafleur, injured his knee, and Lafleur was out for the rest of the playoffs. Didn't play against Minnesota in the quarterfinal round, and it was a big factor in Montreal losing to the Stars. I don't think Montreal would have won a cup that year with Lafleur without him because I think it was the Islanders' year, but, all for a mist of time. Now, in the second period, Tom Breau scored his first on an assist from Keon and Alley to make it 2-1 Hartford. Then Lambert yet again with another goal, scoring from LaRouche and Napier. Now, Hull put Montreal ahead 3-2 in the third before Tom Breau's second of the contest allowed him Hartford to get back in the game. And Lambert with another goal in the playoffs, probably one of the best series that Lambert had in these playoff run, like for one set. Scored again on Tremblay and Hull, the game winner, with 29 seconds gone in overtime, kind of mimicking a little bit his goal against Boston in Game 7 the year before. Now, what was ironic about this, ladies and gentlemen, this is hard to believe. And even it's the only stat I remember from this. They won that series. They didn't win a playoff series in 82. They lost to Quebec in the first round. Didn't win a playoff series in 81, lost to Edmonton in the first round. Didn't win a playoff series in 82, lost to Quebec in the first round. In 83, lost to Buffalo. Now, this is due for a lot of factors. They were still trying to determine who was going to replace Kenny Dryden, Jacques Lemaire, and a few other players. Montreal was using Larocque, Harreau, Walmsley, kind of 70, kind of a mix over those seasons, and it didn't really work out. But it was kind of ironic, ladies and gentlemen. If you saw Gordie Howe play in that game, I don't think he should have retired. He played very good against Montreal, and like I said, just like like the leader of the pack, like an old tiger knows the moves where the younger tiger just wasting energy. But to see Bobby Hull and Davy Keon and Gordie Howe on the same team, it was like watching the 1974 Summit Series squad in kind of reunion. And I know on occasion seeing the two sons, Mark and Marty, kind of do shorthand talk with Bobby Hull. If I remember correctly, Hull joined Hartford late in that season towards the playoffs, and I think he wanted one last run with his buddies. But Gordie Howe had every right to stay in the NHL for another season, but I think he wanted to concentrate on retirement, him and Colleen. But I mean, in that second game in Montreal, I have all kind of praise for him because that goal he scored, just a fine touch of the puck. It's there's highlights I think on YouTube of it. Check it out. So that's the story of the Hartford-Montreal first round playoff series in 1980. And as the words of Pierre Trudeau said, welcome to the 1980s, but this marked the start of Montreal's downturn that literally lasted almost 4 years. And, I don't think we're over it yet. Have a good evening. Bye.